Yes, Ravens fans, things just got heated, and we need to talk about something that's causing a serious debate across the NFL. We all know one thing. If the Baltimore Ravens want to make a real Super Bowl run, they need a defense that can finish games. And one comment has everyone asking the same question. Are sacks really overrated? Some people believe Trey Hendrickson was brought to Baltimore for one reason only, to get after the quarterback and rack up sacks. Others say there's much more to playing the edge position than just bringing the quarterback down. Now I want to hear from you. Where do you stand? Do you believe sacks are one of the most important stats in football, or do you think people give them too much credit? Drop your opinion in the comments below. And if you've been a Baltimore Ravens fan for more than 15 years, smash that like button as hard as you can. Alright, let's talk about Trey Hendrickson and this growing controversy. One of the biggest conversations surrounding the Ravens right now started because of comments made about the value of sacks. The opinion was simple. Sacks can sometimes be overrated because they do not always tell the full story of how a defensive player performs. The argument suggested that some pass rushers become so focused on chasing sacks that they neglect other responsibilities like defending the run, maintaining gap discipline, or keeping quarterbacks contained inside the pocket. On the surface, that may sound like a reasonable football discussion. Every defensive player is expected to contribute in multiple ways. Setting the edge, stopping the run, maintaining assignments, and helping the entire defense function together are all important responsibilities. Football is the ultimate team sport, and one flashy statistic never tells the complete story. But when you look at the Ravens specifically, the conversation becomes much more interesting. Trey Hendrickson has never built his reputation by being called the best run defender in football. He has never been known primarily as the league's greatest edge setter either. What made him one of the NFL's most productive defensive players is something much simpler. He gets to the quarterback. And that's exactly why Baltimore wanted him. The Ravens did not bring him in because they suddenly needed someone to transform their run defense. They already have players capable of handling those responsibilities. They didn't bring him in to become the centerpiece of every defensive assignment against outside runs. Instead, they brought him in to solve one of the biggest frustrations Ravens fans have experienced over the past several seasons. Think about how many games Baltimore has controlled early. The offense builds a lead. The defense forces mistakes. Everything looks comfortable. Then suddenly the opposing quarterback starts finding rhythm late in the game. Teams become completely one-dimensional because they have to throw on nearly every down, yet somehow they continue moving the football. Why? Because the Ravens often struggle to consistently finish those passing situations by bringing the quarterback down. Pressure is valuable. It can force hurried throws, bad decisions, interceptions, and mistakes. But pressure alone does not always end a play. A quarterback can still escape pressure. He can still throw a completion. He can still find a receiver for a first down. A sack changes everything. When the quarterback goes down behind the line of scrimmage, the play is over. The offense loses yardage. The momentum changes. Sometimes the ball even comes loose, creating an even bigger opportunity for the defense. That is why so many Ravens fans believe sacks are far from overrated. This is also why Trey Hendrickson fits such an important role. His primary responsibility is expected to be creating those game-changing moments when Baltimore absolutely needs them. Closing out games, finishing drives, preventing late comebacks. That is where his value becomes enormous. Of course, every Ravens fan would love to see him become a complete every-down defender who dominates every phase of the game. If that happens, it would simply be an added bonus. But even if his biggest contribution remains getting after the quarterback, that alone addresses one of the team's biggest needs. Another reason Ravens fans reject the idea that sacks are overrated comes from recent history. There have been seasons where Baltimore simply did not generate enough consistent quarterback takedowns. Even when pressure existed, it often failed to produce the drive-ending plays that completely swing games. Compare that to 2023. That season, the Ravens finished among the league's best defenses, leading the NFL in sacks while also becoming one of football's most dominant units overall. That defense consistently disrupted opposing offenses, controlled games, and helped carry Baltimore through one of its strongest regular seasons. That success makes it difficult for Ravens fans to accept any argument suggesting sacks are somehow less valuable than they appear. The discussion also highlights an important difference between statistics and impact. Not every sack carries equal value. A sack on first down is helpful. A sack on third and long that forces a punt can completely change momentum. A strip sack that creates a turnover might become the biggest play of the game. Those moments win football games. That is exactly why Baltimore invested in adding another proven pass rusher. Looking beyond the defensive conversation, there's also growing excitement surrounding the offense. Many fans believe this offense has another level it can reach. The expectation expectation is that Lamar Jackson will continue leading one of the league's most dangerous attacks. His chemistry with Zay Flowers continues developing, and every time you watch them together, it becomes easier to understand why Flowers has become such a trusted target. Whether it's a short completion, an intermediate route, or a deep shot down the field, Lamar consistently looks comfortable throwing in his direction. That connection has become one of the most exciting parts of Baltimore's passing attack. There is also optimism surrounding several other receivers. Tez Walker has the potential to stretch defenses vertically, creating explosive opportunities. Rashad Bateman remains capable of making important plays underneath while also threatening defenses deep when given the opportunity. Meanwhile, bigger receivers like Jacoby Lane and Elijah Surratt could provide physicality that helps in critical situations, especially inside the red zone. Their size presents interesting possibilities, although it will be important for the offense to avoid becoming predictable whenever those players enter the game. The running game should remain one of Baltimore's greatest strengths as well. Derrick Henry has already proven throughout his career that he can dominate in different offensive systems. With Baltimore, he doesn't have to carry every responsibility himself because the offense features multiple dangerous playmakers around him. That balance could make him even more effective. If the offensive line performs at a higher level and the offense continues developing, there is every reason to believe Henry can remain one of the NFL's most productive running backs. There is also excitement surrounding rookie Adam Randall, whose versatility could create additional opportunities within the offense. Fans are eager to see how Baltimore chooses to use his skill set once the regular season begins. On defense, patience will also be important. Young players like Chandler Rivers have not generated massive headlines yet, but that should not automatically be viewed as a negative. Rookies often begin quietly before making bigger impressions once training camp and preseason competition intensify. Sometimes development happens away from the spotlight. One interesting point raised during the discussion involves the team's overall direction. There's a growing feeling that Baltimore is entering a new era. Even though Lamar Jackson transformed the offense years ago, many observers still believe the organization has historically invested significant resources into building dominant defenses. Now the challenge becomes finding the perfect balance. An explosive offense capable of scoring quickly, a defense capable of protecting leads, a pass rush capable of ending games. That combination is exactly what every championship contender wants. As training camp approaches, optimism continues growing across the Ravens fan base. There will undoubtedly be adjustments. Every new system requires time. Every roster addition needs chemistry. Every rookie must continue learning, but the overall belief remains strong. The offense has the talent to become explosive. The defense has the opportunity to become even more disruptive. And if Trey Hendrickson delivers exactly what Baltimore brought him here to do, consistently getting quarterbacks on the ground during the biggest moments, then many of the problems Ravens fans watched over recent seasons could finally begin disappearing. Whether the debate about sacks continues or not, one thing is clear. Ravens fans know exactly how important those game-changing plays can be. They have seen what happens when the defense consistently finishes drives, and they have also experienced the frustration when opposing quarterbacks escape late in games. Now the expectation is different. The expectation is that Baltimore finally has another closer on defense. The expectation is that late-game leads become safer. The expectation is that this team has everything necessary to compete with the very best teams in the NFL. Now I want to hear from you. Do you agree that sacks are one of the most important defensive statistics in football, or do you believe overall defensive impact matters more than sack totals alone? And how excited are you to see Trey Hendrickson, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, and the rest of this Ravens team take the field this season? Let me know your thoughts in the comments because this conversation is only getting started. And as always, the biggest discussions happen with the best fans in football.